What's up, everyone? This is Coach Oz here, coming to you from Hyper Strength and Conditioning from San Jose, California. Yeah. And today I'm going to be doing our episode while people be training. There's Coach Gabe over there, and there's B Nasty. You guys see him over there. So if you hear things banging or people yelling in the background, it's most likely them. So yeah, let me move this camera real quick. So today I'm going to be talking about how to lose belly fat. And I'm not selling you no damn supplements today, guys. Sorry, I'm not sorry. But we're going to go over 3 simple options because it's Wisdom Wednesday. And I'm going to expand your minds with these 3 wise tips. They're pretty simple that everyone could definitely follow upon. Just want to let you guys know I'm not a registered dietitian. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a coach. I'm trying to give tips. I've been doing this for a while and helped a lot of people. So, this is how we're going to get down with the get down. We're going to start with carbs. Carbs are awesome and delicious, and everyone wants to eat them, and it's great. But if you are one of those people who are struggling with, your weight, and you want to reduce some of the belly fat or whatever, and it goes across the board, no matter how big, small, tall, wide, whatever. Carbs in general, they're awesome, they're delicious, but too much of one thing is never good. So I'm not going to be all Atkins on you and be like, take out the carbs are the enemy, blah, blah, blah. But be mindful of your intake of that macronutrient. Your body does need it for energy. Your body definitely needs it for energy. But too much of it can definitely, if a lot of people know, like, oh yeah, if I eat too much carbs, what happens is it gets turned into fat because it's extra. Yeah, that's one fundamental thing that happens in the body. But another thing is that it fucks with your insulin levels. And this is when you talk about the glycemic index, but without going too crazy on it, that's why people, when they eat, there's like a freaking thing that's going around. When you eat a lot of carbs, especially simple carbs, like those white carbs they're just really quick to digest, like sugar, you'll get that spike of insulin because that's your body's natural reaction in order for it to digest those carbs. But because of that, you're going to start feeling like, oh my God, I'm so sleepy and it's sluggish and all that stuff. And when you have several spikes of those a day, it really fucks with your energy levels and all that stuff. So yeah, when you start reducing carbs, when you start lowering your carb intake, it does definitely help in losing or reducing your belly fat and fat all around. And also, when you start reducing carbs, you're reducing molecules in the body that will attach to water, because carbs and water, they love each other. You drink water and you have carbs in you, that's how you kind of get that bloating feeling. And when you start reducing that amount, the water doesn't really have anything to cling to, so you start flushing out water weight, and that's why they call it water weight. It's not necessarily you losing like all this fat all of a sudden when everyone starts a weight loss program. It's just the excess water weight that usually you retain when you eat a lot of carbs and sodium and all that stuff. So that's that. So how to reduce your carb intake? I would always recommend people start just measuring what you're eating throughout the day. And all these, like, to be very specific, because this is just a general tip, to be just go on, like, get a Lose It app, get a MyFitnessPal. They have these little typical algos or algorithms that they built into their app where, you say, like, you want to lose weight and you put in your height, weight, whatever, BMI, and they'll give you a very general census of, like, okay, this is where your macros need to be. Are they specifically for you? You kind of need to dive more into that, but it's a great start. It's definitely a great start. And it will help you be more mindful of what you're putting into your body. So when you're being more mindful of what you're putting into your body, you're gonna start seeing, like, oh shit, I ate a lot of chips. you're gonna start being like, damn, I ate chips. Like, when you start looking at that app and you're like, dude, I eat a lot of chips. I eat chips like 3, 4, 5 times a day. What the fuck? So that's why you need to, that's when you start measuring what you're doing, you start seeing it, then you can start managing it. When you start managing it, that's the first step towards reducing that belly fat, reducing the excess weight, all that fun stuff. That's where it begins. So a lot of people always ask, like, what's the best type of training to reduce belly fat? Blah, blah, blah. And, like, there's like there's people going on like Orange Theory and Cardio Zone and Taibo lifting things and hydroxycut while doing Taibo and P90X blindfolded and stuff. So with that being said, you know, they always talk about, and actually I would like to shout out to Body Spec. They're cool people over there. So shout out to Body Spec. If you don't know who they are, look them up. They did not sponsor me in any way. They're just really cool people. They actually have one of the truest forms of measuring your body fat. So if they're around, they're slowly expanding in the US, and I haven't had a chance to have them come by. It's so bad. But it's one of the truest forms of measuring your body fat because they use a DEXA scan. And it's basically like an x-ray of your body, and it reads all your fat, like intra-abdominal fat, like the fat behind your abs, like within the organs. It's really important to like know of. Like it gets a true reading, and it usually reads 10% higher than what we're used to seeing. Like if you're typically at 15% body fat, the DEXA scan will read like 25% body fat, only because it's like a true form. Like it's getting everything. When you're doing just the bioimpedance, it's only getting the superficial stuff and water and all that, so that can always change. But the DEXA scan is really cool. So the reason why I'm bringing them up is because one of the main things that they always bring up, which I totally agree with, is when people, you know, get their DEXA scan and they see the intra-abdominal fat like a lot, like being a lot, like the fat behind the abdominal wall is definitely greater than what it needs to be. And a way that you can get a visual of this and understanding of this, guys, think about a beer belly. And beer belly is smooth and hard, and that's not good. That is not good. People can say, oh, that's muscle. Nah, dude, that's not muscle, man. That's a lot of fat built up in that intra-abdominal region that's crowding the intestines and the organs. You got the spleen and the liver in there, and that's not good. That is no bueno. So one of the best ways, most efficient ways to reduce that type of fat that's like deep in the belly is interval training. So interval training, you know, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, or 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, that type of stuff, raising that anaerobic threshold, raising that heart rate, and then getting a rest and all that stuff. So you don't even have to run like 2, 3, 4 miles at a time, long distance. A lot of people, I mean, there's people who love distance running and long endurance sports, but there's a lot of us who are just like, man, can we just do like a workout? Like I get bored after 30 minutes. So for those of you who just don't want to run a mile straight, why don't you just run a mile, like run for 30 seconds and then walk for 30 seconds and do that for a total of a mile. That definitely helps. It definitely pushes the body in a different way. You're using different energy systems, and you're pushing that anaerobic type energy system as opposed to just the oxidative stuff. And that means basically endurance versus sprinting. So, you know, that type of stuff, you'll be more efficient with your timing. You have more control of your workouts. You can rest more, and then you can run, rest, do whatever. But doing that definitely helps, playing a part in just reducing body fat overall. And that leads me up to my next point that brings it all together is consistency. So oh, my wife's calling. Look at that. Look at that. So I gotta wrap this up, guys. Consistency definitely helps a lot, because a lot of people lack patience when it comes to getting lasting results. You can do a 60-day program, you can do a 90-day program, but if you're not in the mindset of continuing that habit, of continuing that lifestyle, you're gonna bounce right back up. And oh my God, studies is such a cop-out word, but it has been proven time and time again that within 2 years of completing a fitness program, 2 or 2.5 years or something like that, I think so. I think I'm butchering this, but a time after a period of time after someone, you know, completes a weight loss program, if they didn't really truly embrace those habits and really try to change their lifestyle, they bounce back up, and even more so, like they weigh even more than they originally did before they started the first program. So it's crazy. So definitely stick with it. Be consistent as possible and be patient, because when you start doing these little changes, when you start to watch what you eat, when you start measuring what you're putting in your body, paying attention to those carbs, and you know, going into starting an interval training program and being consistent in that definitely helps. And for those of you asking, like, well, what happens if I reduce carbs? Do I just reduce my caloric intake overall or what? And but usually one of the best practices is, helps with that is replacing those calories with good fats. So those always help, like fish oils and omega-3s or whatever. But again, not endorsing any type of supplements. I'm not a registered dietitian, all that stuff. I'm just suggesting things that have definitely helped a lot of my clients in the past, myself, and my athletes, and my coaches, and all that stuff. And it's been pretty proven. It's nothing groundbreaking I'm talking about. So it's just things to kind of keep in mind, because there's a lot of noise out there in YouTube and social media and all these internet links. Like, well, what is really true? And what I've seen firsthand, that's helped us a lot. It's a lot of the members and a lot of my clients, past, present, are these three things. So with that being said, this is Coach Austin here, coming to you from Hyper Strength and Conditioning for Coaching for Geeks, turning geeks into superheroes. Don't forget to sign up for our Facebook group if you haven't. I mean, I'm obviously posting this on the Facebook group, but if you know someone who wants to, get down with the get down, post this, share this vid with them, show them what we're doing, share the link, because we're on the up and up, guys. So, guys, any questions, let me know. It's Coach Austin, and I'm out.